Good evening. I hope everyone is sticking with the practice. Practice requires patient effort, goodwill, acceptance of the way things are, all kinds of qualities to keep going with a meditation retreat. There's a few questions tonight, so the first one is from Singapore. Dear Lumpur, may I know if Dusita heavenly realm is the same as the Pure Land in the Mahayana tradition? How can one work towards making the aspiration to be reborn in Dusita heaven? Thanks so much. Oh. That's like making the aspiration to take second place in the World Cup rather than win the World Cup. The World Cup is Nibbana, isn't it? So why take second place, Dusita heaven? The Buddha didn't encourage us to practice for heaven. He encouraged us to practice letting go of all attachment to reach the unconditioned. Because, of course, even being reborn in Dusita heaven is not ultimate happiness, permanent happiness. Maybe a stepping stone on the way to happiness, the ultimate happiness of Nibbana, but it's not an ultimate goal, you might say. Nevertheless, we call it the heaven of the peaceful. So if you were to be reborn there, you'd have to be peaceful first. So it tends to be those who have practiced very good sila, so they have very peaceful, restrained behavior, living in the world, and then those who have practiced meditation, attained samadhi, those who have made a lot of merit, practicing generosity and kindness, those who have helped a lot of people. So it's the realm where bodhisattvas are reborn. So our Buddha, Gautama the Buddha, before he took birth, his last life as Gautama, Prince Siddhartha Gautama, he was in Dusita heaven. It's known as Sandusit Deva Buddha. And they say the Bodhisattva surveyed the universe, and at the time that he felt was appropriate, he made the decision to take birth in the world, in northern India. They say when he made that decision, there was a heavenly earthquake. It was such a momentous decision. That was prior to, I can't remember how many years prior. Was it 12 years prior or 100 years prior to the actual birth of the Bodhisattva? There was a heavenly earthquake. So Dusita heaven is full of people with merit, been practicing generosity, sila, meditation, helping people, full of bodhisattvas, Aryapugalas too, Sotapannas. So it may be a good place to be reborn on as a step towards Nibbana. One of the meditations we can do is Devadanusati, a recollection of the qualities of a Deva. That would probably be a good start to cultivate the qualities of a Deva. So what are the qualities of a deva? Hiri and ottappa. Hiri means sense of shame. The mind that shrinks away from doing evil, like a bird's feather. When you put it close to a fire, it will shrivel away from the fire. You have to cultivate that awareness of good and evil, wholesome, unwholesome karma, and then once one appreciates what unwholesome karma is and what it does to one, then the mind will shrink away from those thoughts and intentions rooted in evil. Through a sense of shame. And then ottappa, fear of wrongdoing. Because knowing the consequences of wrongdoing, one doesn't want to inflict harm on oneself and others. Doesn't want to make bad karma. So it's a wise, intelligent fear. It's not just a kind of blind fear instilled by some authority figure. It comes through wisdom, understanding of karma and the fruits of karma. One naturally shrinks away and shies away from making bad karma. So these are the two prominent qualities of a deva. If you cultivate them, well, I guess you've got more chance of being reborn in the Deva Loka if you haven't yet reached Nibbana. And if you want to attain Nibbana, you need to cultivate Hiri-ottappa anyway. So it goes together. You have to cultivate strong sila and understanding of wholesome and unwholesome karma, and then abandon the unwholesome. Restrain your worst excesses in your speech and your action, and know why you're doing that. Lungta Mahabua used to say you have to learn to restrain the outgoing exuberance of the mind. So we like to go out and say and do things which cause us and other people trouble. We have to learn to restrain that. This is the mind of a deva. And it brings with it a certain serenity, the happiness, freedom from regret and remorse, stability, mental stability. Even though mental defilements may be still arising and present in the mind, the practitioner is not displaying them through speech or action. There's a certain serenity and instability of mind. So this is the foundation for cultivating mindfulness and samadhi and wisdom, of course. But until one has developed insight into the impermanent nature of the five khandhas, then one may be reborn in a heavenly realm. So some of those teachers who can recollect their past lives, they say they were reborn in Dusita heaven for the shortest time possible. They made an adhitthana, a determination, just to be born there for half a day, so they could quickly come back as a human to practice the Dhamma. Better to be born as a human, hear the Dhamma, practice in the human realm. Practice of vipassana, insight into the Four Noble Truths, is more effective in the human realm. So those who really aspire to Nibbana will tend to come back as humans quickly. Those who stay in the Dusita heaven a long time are ones who've made an adhitthana, maybe to practice with the next Buddha, Maitreya Buddha. So in that sense, there's a certain similarity to Mahayana Buddhism, Pure Land Buddhism. But I'm not an expert in Pure Land Buddhism, so I wouldn't like to comment on it. Better to ask one of them what they believe in, what they practice. But in terms of ultimate happiness, Dusita heaven is certainly a very desirable heaven realm to be in if you're in it, but Nibbana is even better. So we're practicing for the unconditioned. Occasionally, the Buddha did use this as an inspiration for practitioners, even monks occasionally, and lay people. Better to practice for and attain a heavenly rebirth than to be reborn in the lower realms. And some people, maybe you might say, they just don't find Nibbana yet inspiring as an ideal. The idea of the unconditioned, of supreme emptiness, is not always attractive in some people's view. So, there's the venerable, who was it? The venerable Nanda, who was, I may be wrong, may have forgotten his name. He was still very worldly, sensual sort of person, and was thinking of disrobing. So the Buddha encouraged him to practice so that he would attain the fruits of heavenly rebirth, and he'd have a retinue of beautiful women serving him, being with him. That sounded good at first. Who wouldn't have a retinue, I guess? Sounds good. But then all the other monks who were practicing for Nibbana, practicing their vipassana, started to laugh at him. Oh, you just practice, you just want a heavenly rebirth. Oh, you're so hopeless. They were looking down on him and teasing him. So he started to feel ashamed, embarrassed. And out of that kind of embarrassment, that spurred him on to develop a more sincere wish for the end of suffering, for Nibbana. And he attained it. So it was a sort of temporary ubaya, skillful means of the Buddha to get the Venerable to put effort into his practice, develop sila, samadhi, get a heavenly rebirth, sounds good. And ultimately seeing the drawbacks of that, intent on Nibbana itself. Keeping 5 precepts would be an essential for rebirth in the heavenly realm. The minimum. 8 precepts even better, because 8 precepts really supports a refined state of peace and samadhi, which may be the cause for rebirth in Dusita heaven. Supporting Sangha is a great cause for rebirth in Dusita heaven. Offering Sangha regularly throughout your life, building monasteries, offering land, offering viharas, kutis, dwelling places, supporting the building of stupas, chedis. All of this kind of dana can result in rebirth in Dusita heaven. Question from Melbourne. Lately you have been mentioning the word discernment more often in the retreat, associating it with panya. How may we practice to develop more discernment? This word panya, sometimes I use insight or wisdom or discernment. Sometimes even use investigation of the truth. So it's a sort of active thing, like discernment. You're discerning the truth by investigating, questioning. So that's a part of our practice. You have to question things, investigate, look at, break down, analyze, to see through fixed views and delusions that we've built up. The delusion of self, the fixed view that this body is a self, my thoughts are me, a self, the sense of ownership, cultivating wisdom, we really have to look deeply for a long time, and we rely on stillness of mind, samadhi, to do that well as well. As you know, in the development of wisdom, there's 3 main types or stages of wisdom. Sutta maya panya, the wisdom that the knowledge and wisdom that comes from listening to the Dhamma, hearing the Dhamma, reading the Dhamma. And that's why it's important to have teachers and associate with practitioners who are wise and have practiced, because they can share their knowledge with us. But then Jintamaya Panya is internalizing it and reflecting on it until you understand it, remember it, and can use wisdom in the way you think and look at things. You develop attitude, develop right internal understanding. And then Bhavana Maya Panya comes when you get the fusion of mindfulness, samadhi, and insight. And this is wisdom, true wisdom that uproots and abandons defilements. It requires a mind that is beyond the hindrances and still, so you can really see clearly the nature of the way things are. See the 5 khandhas as impermanent. To see the 5 khandhas as impermanent, not self, the mind has to be still enough, not moving around all the time, reacting to everything like it normally does, and running after craving, wanting, not wanting. And that's why samadhi has to be a basis for wisdom. But development of wisdom will also strengthen sila and samadhi. So these 3 things are like, Luang Por Man used to say, it's the 3 segments of the circle: sila, samadhi, panya, and they are constantly supporting and strengthening each other. Sila, purity of sila purifies and strengthens samadhi, which strengthens wisdom, which strengthens sila, and they're like 3 inseparable parts of the practice. They're all the same mind, but they're just different aspects of the well-trained mind. And wisdom has to really come when you're questioning, investigating, observing the truth to the point where you're beyond doubt. In the beginning, we still have doubt, which interrupts our wisdom, as it were, can take wisdom away, and we stray away and start getting caught into wrong views and beliefs. When wisdom is not functioning, we see permanence in that which is impermanent. We see happiness in that which is suffering. We see self in that which is not self. We get it wrong. So we fool ourselves or lie to ourselves, because that's what we want. We want things to be permanent. It's like a bit like Dusita heaven, isn't it? You want some kind of permanent heavenly rebirth where you get all the pleasures and happiness that you want, but it doesn't last. And you may be reborn out of Dusita heaven back in a lower realm, ghost realm, even hell realm. It's not sure where you'll be reborn. We're constantly looking for permanence in that which is impermanent. So you build things up in this world and you try to attain things and want to keep it, hold on to it. We want to keep our reputation, we want to keep pleasure, success, status, all the kind of worldly kinds of happiness, but they're all very uncertain and subject to change. It's wisdom that sees through the impermanent nature of the world and the happiness of the world that we cling to and identify with. When wisdom sees that, then it gets tired of that wanting and clinging. So it goes to the unconditioned, just knowing the way things are, clearly knowing and seeing the way things are. So bhavana, in my opinion, has to come through training in right effort, right mindfulness, right samadhi, abandoning the hindrances, and then looking into the body, feelings, the things we attach to and identify with, every thought, every mood, every emotion, until the mind is absolutely clear that these things are all impermanent. They don't last. Then it doesn't want to cling to that which doesn't last. The last question tonight from New South Wales. Ajahn, I feel like my life has been unstable for the last few years with changes in housing, relationships, work, place of residence and community. I am feeling at a loss at the moment after moving state to be with my new partner. It is a new relationship with some complications, including 2 young children. I'm finding it challenging to settle here and have not been motivated to look for work or put down roots. I miss my friends and the familiarity of my previous town of residence. At times I feel anxious, down, lost and unstable. I'm also aware of the whole grass is greener on the other side phenomenon. How can I help soothe and find peace with the new changes and the unknown, please? How can I practice acceptance with what is? Or maybe a very simple practical start is do some meditation every day to calm your mind. Breath meditation or loving kindness meditation. Every day develop the calm that comes with mindfulness. So body and mind relax more, and you're improving your skill in letting go of stressful thoughts, seeing negative thoughts, letting them go. With two young children around, I know it may be challenging, so you have to get up early or stay up late, these kind of things. You have to find your time when you can do it. And if you're not working, well, maybe you have more free time. And accept, if you've gone through all these changes you've just listed, yeah, of course it's going to be a time of great change, upheaval in your life, so it will take a while to settle down. That's why some meditation will help. And then cultivate kindness and compassion for yourself and the people around you every day. You might lighten up and enjoy life more as you do that. Try to enjoy what you're doing. If you've got 2 young kids to help look after, well, try to see the good in that. Try to be kind to your partner, kind to yourself, and maybe make a plan of how to use your time usefully. If you're not working, there's things you can do, I guess, around the house, personal development, meditation, exercise, learning things, learn new things. And maybe in the long run, maybe it is a good idea to get a job, because sometimes that gives us a sense of purpose and motivation. Like you say, your imagination will always create pictures of other places and other things you could be doing that would be better. Like you say, grass is greener on the other side. So, yeah, it is correct to be aware of that. If you haven't got a job and you're at home a lot, the mind is often idle. So then, of course, we can get caught into thinking too much, painting too many rosy pictures of how better my life could be somewhere else, doing something else. So beware of that, beware of the wandering mind. So try to make use of this situation you're in. Helping the family, meditating. And with those feelings of, say, depression, instability, be very patient with them. Remind yourself they're just the natural consequence of having moved and changed so many things in your life. Friendship will come if you cultivate loving kindness for yourself, and then outwards, gradually you'll meet people and you'll see the good in others, and then friendships will emerge from that. But it may take time, so you need patience. But then make use of that time. If you don't have that many friends, well, maybe you've got more seclusion, more time to do things, certain things that you've always wanted to do in your life. Because remember, when you have lots of friends and social life, you're always going to be complaining, I have no time. I can't do this, I can't do that, I've got to do all these other things with other people. So if you're more on your own, good. Just try and make the best of the situation you're in. And if you haven't got any friends, well, just make friends with yourself and learn about life and living with yourself, to be at peace with yourself. So I would encourage you to use the situation to bring some Dhamma into your life, practicing kindness with your family, generosity, meditation, and just be very patient with the situation. I think you'll find time goes quicker than you think, and you might find in a year or two everything is settled down. I don't know you, so I don't know exactly how things will go, but often, we think the worst. You project the worst onto your situation, but if you just wait, everything can change, and maybe it'll turn out better than you think. Who knows? That's what anxiety and depression does. It pulls your mind down. Ajahn Chah used to say, like water, it always flows downhill. So you always see the worst side of something. So you have to catch that as part of your meditation practice. Be more aware of how you may be looking at everything in a more negative way. So maybe look around to see what you can appreciate, what's good in your situation. Maybe many good things in your partner, in the kids, in the place you're living, that you can find if you look. You have to look and bring up the appreciation, the gratitude in the situation you find yourself in. One reflection some people use is, it could be worse. It could always be worse. Reflect on that every day. Or another one Ajahn Chah used to say, it's good enough. Things can always be better, but it's good enough. Try to find contentment in your situation. You've got a roof over your head, you've got food, you've got company, you've got your family. Just try to see that it's good enough and find contentment with what you've got. Monks learn this all the time, how to be content in very sort of challenging situations, content with your limited, simple lodgings, with the weather, with food, because as an alms mendicant you have no money, no income, so you can't really buy anything or choose much. You accept the food you're offered. You have one set of clothing, one simple lodging in the forest. You have to accept the weather, the situation. It's good enough. As long as you're able to practice in a situation, it's good enough. And you develop that perception of contentment with what you have. Then your mind becomes calm quickly. So your food is good enough, your lodging is good enough, your robes are good enough, your fellow monks are good enough. So actually, they're very good. If you live with people who practice the Dhamma and have precepts, it's very inspiring, because they don't do all the foolish things that people out there in society do every day. You live with monastics, nobody's getting drunk, nobody's fighting and arguing, nobody's stealing, nobody's bullying. All these things you don't have to deal with as a monk, because everyone is trying their best to keep sila and be mindful and kind and compassionate. So you keep focusing on that, you become very content. And you have to remind yourself of that. When your mind wanders out to the world, you think, oh, It could be worse. Sure, there's still challenges practicing in a monastic environment. There's many challenges, but it could be worse. And you find contentment in community, in the lifestyle, even though it's a very simple lifestyle. So there's a lot you can learn from that as a layperson, introducing your lay life. If you haven't got much money, okay, well, live more like a monk. Budget. Live within your means. Stop spending money on unnecessary stuff. Just get by with what you've got. You haven't got the best house, okay. You're living with people, as long as they treat you reasonably, that's good enough. You may have some differences of opinion on things, okay, but as long as you're relatively peaceful, kind to each other, that's good enough. Try and appreciate the situation you're in, it's good enough. Then you'll find when you meditate, you settle down, your mind settles down very quickly. What do we do when we go into the negativity? We go to the, it's not good enough. And we want to complain about ourselves or others, and we make ourselves miserable very quickly. So just bring it up as like a mantra, it's good enough. The relationship is good enough. The new house, the new place, residence is good enough. The people around, the neighbours are good enough. A monk in Christchurch, New Zealand, sent a message today. He said, "Wow, it's so warm in Christchurch today. Midwinter, it's 14 degrees." So someone staying here from Queensland, they said, "Wow, it never gets below 20 degrees where I live." But if you're in a place that's normally very cold, like Christchurch, then 14 degrees, I'll take it. It's good enough. Much the same as here in Warburton in the mountains. 14 degrees in the middle of winter is not bad. Today was a nice sunny day. It's good enough. We have to learn to take what we can. So anyway, I'll leave you with those questions and answers tonight, and in a moment we'll finish the session, bowing to the Buddha Dhamma Sangha.